Excise remain only on tobacco and related products, sir. With the GST compensation cess ending as loans are repaid, this bill restores physical space by shifting that burden into core excise, sir. Sir, Article 2, 4th Schedule, Section 4, tariff items 2401 to 2404. The bill replaces the entire tobacco tariff table in Section 4. It sets about 70% duty on unmanufactured tobacco, strong specific duties on cigarette per 1,000 sticks, sir, higher duties on chewing and smoking mixtures, and clear rates for new nicotine products, sir. Honorable Chairman, sir, we feel some of the positives of this bill is tariff items 2401 10 to 20 or 30, uniform high duty on all unmanufactured tobacco types, and tobacco refuse reduce disputes and makes compliance simpler for farmers and traders, sir. Tariff items 2403 to 2430, very high duty on chewing and scented tobacco supports public health goals while preserving revenue, sir. Sir, in Article 1 of 2, Fiscal Memorandum, the shift from cess to excise protects centre's revenue without fresh budgetary outgo and supports medium and term fiscal planning, sir. Honorable Chairman, sir, let me seek some answers for few questions, sir. Sir, number one, tariff item 2402-20, how will length-based slabs be policed so that cigarettes are not misdeclared around 65 mm, 70 mm, and 75 mm to reduce duty, sir? And second question is, tariff items 2403, 19, 21 to 29, what safeguards will stop machine-made bias being shown as handmade to claim the concession rates, sir? Tariff items 2404 to 12, 2404, 91 to 99. When will final duty rates be notified for fast-growing oral and transdermal nicotine products, sir? And tariff item 2403, 9970 versus 2403, 9910. How will diversion of low tax cut tobacco into high tax chewing tobacco be prevented across the state borders, sir? With these comments, I support this bill, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Srimati Mahima Kumari, Member.
Speaker, sir, I rise today to speak in support of the Central Excise Bill 2025, which in my respectful submission is not merely a fiscal adjustment but a decisive step towards strengthening our nation's public health and architecture. For that, I will like to thank our Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Finance Minister. भारतवर्ष 2047 तक विकसित बनाने के मंत्र के साथ विकास की साधनारत है और इसके विकास में महिलाओं, युवाओं, अन्नदाता, किसानों की भी भूमिका बहुत अधिक महत्वपूर्ण है। जहां जीएसटी सुधार का माध्यम से और करों के स्तर को सरल किया गया है, जिसके माध्यम से देश में मांग में वृद्धि हुई है और उसका परिणाम अभी जीडीपी की 8.2% की ग्रोथ से भी देखा जा सकता है। उसके लिए हमारे आदरणीय सीतारमण जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। परंतु देश के स्वास्थ्य की चिंता करना भी ज़रूरी है। इसकी जागरूकता को बढ़ाने के अभी पूरे देश में सांसद खेल प्रोग्राम किए जा रहे हैं। उसके साथ साथ अन्य प्रकार के भी स्वास्थ्य के प्रति जागरूकता को बढ़ाने जाने के उपाय किए जा रहे हैं। इस क्रम में स्वास्थ्य के लिए हानिकारक नशे के उत्पादनों के प्रयोग में नियंत्रण की हतोत्साहित करने के क्रम में ही इस संशोधन बिल को देखा जाना चाहिए। This bill becomes necessary at a time when the GST compensation cess is being gradually phased. Without corresponding safeguards, harmful products such as tobacco would inevitably become harmful product cheaper and more accessible, particularly in rural and semi-urban markets, where enforcement challenges remain acute. The proposed increase in excise duty ensures that the overall tax burden on tobacco products remains stable so that affordability does not rise and consumption does not spike. This approach reflects responsible governance, balancing fiscal rationality with the fundamental obligation to protect the health and welfare of our people. The real impact of this legislation must be understood not in economic abstractions, but in effect on ordinary families, children, village communities. In small towns and rural beds across the countries, bidi, gutka, and inexpensive cigarettes remain dangerously easily to obtain. Young adolescents encounter tobacco not behind closed doors, but in public spaces, school, adjacent kiosks. Weekly rural markets and roadside shops. Experimentation begins early, often before young minds fully understands the consequences of the addiction. This early exposure translates into long-term dependence, deteriorating health, educational dropouts, and increasing medical expenditure for the families that can least afford it. In many agricultural and tribal communities, we see a parallel reality of undernutrition, school absent of the children. A lot of children don't go to school because they use all these things, and growing health hazards directly connected to tobacco use among adults and adolescents alike. When families spend their limited income on addictive products, resources meant for food, education, and healthcare suffers. But sustaining price deterrence through calibrated tax policy, this bill intervenes at the most vulnerable entry point of addiction. Price remains one of the strongest barriers preventing children and youth from initiating tobacco use. When products remain unaffordable, experimentation reduces, progression to the habitual use declines, and entire household patterns of consumption change. Parents reduce usage, children remain protected from exposure, and community health gradually improves. In this sense, the bill serves as a protective shield around young Indians who constitute our demographic dividend, ensuring that future generations remain healthier, more educated, and more productive. India continues to confront an alarming burden of tobacco-related non-communicable disease, ranging from oral cancer to lung ailments and cardiovascular disease. These illnesses do not strike in isolation. They devastate families emotionally and financially. Rural population, daily wages earner, and low-income households face the worst consequences, often arriving at hospitals only when disease has reached advanced and costly stages. Preventive public policy, therefore, must remain our primary defense. Alongside discouraging consumption, this bill also ensures that revenue generated from harmful commodities strengthens national healthcare capacity. Under the present government leadership, our medical infrastructure has seen historic expansion. The number of AIIMS institution has tripled. Medical college have doubled nationwide, and Ayushman Bharat had delivered treatment access to crores of beneficiaries. The philosophy guiding this legislation is both practical and principled. The economic burden created by harmful products is redirected into building hospitals, training doctors, and guaranteeing medical insurance for the poor. Wise, in effect, finance public virtue. Concerns regarding state revenue deserve serious attention and have been responsibly addressed to the legislative structure.